All right, let's just jump right in. For what feels like forever, AI was something you'd see in the movies, right? But that's all changed. It's not some far-off idea anymore. It's here right now, and it's already, quietly but totally, changing how we all get our jobs done.
So let me ask you something straight up. Just think about your typical workday. How many of us do you think are actually using AI right now? I mean, maybe without even realizing it's AI we're using.
Well, the number is probably a lot higher than you think. It might even shock you. As of this year, a whopping 75% of us are already using AI on the job. Yeah, you heard that right. 3 out of every 4 people. So this isn't some trend that's on the horizon. It's already landed. And you know, the reason for this crazy fast adoption, it all comes down to the absolutely massive potential here. We're talking about a $4.4 trillion opportunity. That's what McKinsey thinks AI could add in productivity growth every single year. A number so big, it's hard to even wrap your head around. So the real question is, how? Where is all this value coming from? Well, let's take a little tour of the modern workplace and find out. All right, our first stop on this tour, human resources. You know, the people department. This is where every employee's journey starts, and believe me, AI is already making a huge difference here.
To really get why, just imagine being a company like Unilever. They get millions of job applications every single year. For a human recruiter, that's, well, it's just impossible. It's the ultimate finding a needle in a haystack problem, but the haystack is the size of a mountain.
So what happened when they brought in AI? A 75% reduction. They took a hiring process that used to drag on for 4 months and shrunk it down to just 4 weeks. I mean, think about that. That's a total game changer. But here's what's really cool. It wasn't just about being faster. Sure, they saved over 100,000 hours of recruiter time, which is amazing, but the AI also helped them find better quality candidates, and it helped reduce unconscious human bias in the process, which led to a more diverse, stronger team. So it's a win-win-win. Okay, let's move on. Next stop on our tour is the growth engine of the company, sales and marketing. And in this department, AI is acting like a true superpower.
And the numbers here are just wow. We're seeing companies get a 50% boost in lead generation. They're slashing call times by 60 to 70%, and they're cutting the cost of their campaigns by almost half. These aren't just little improvements. This is fundamentally rewiring how sales and marketing get done.
And if you want a perfect example of this in action, I mean, look no further than Amazon. You know that little customers who bought this also bought section? That recommendation engine, driven entirely by AI, is responsible for an estimated 35% of their e-commerce revenue. 35%! That's the power of AI-driven personalization on a massive scale. Okay, so you've made the sale. Now you've got to support the customer. So let's head to the front lines, to customer service. This is where AI is helping businesses handle a crazy amount of customer questions and issues. What's happening here is really a new division of labor. Think about it. AI systems can now handle up to 90% of the common, repetitive questions. This doesn't just clear the queue, it completely changes the job for human agents. They're no longer just reading from a script. They're freed up to become real problem solvers for the trickiest, most sensitive cases. And it's not just about taking tasks away. AI is also an incredible assistant. Get this. A major company gave its support team an AI helper that whispered real-time suggestions during customer chats. The result? A 14% jump in productivity. The AI was basically acting like a personal, real-time coach for every single agent. For our last departmental stop, we're going to the team that keeps the whole digital office running and safe, IT and cybersecurity. And here, AI's role is, well, it's absolutely critical. Because in the world of cybersecurity, every single second counts. And this number, it's just mind-blowing. AI automation can cut the response time to a security threat by up to 96%. We're talking about taking a process that could take hours or even days and squashing it down to just a few seconds. That's the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. And it's not just about security. AI is also revolutionizing how IT itself works in a field they call AI ops. Basically, it's using AI to put IT on autopilot. This means having automated monitoring 24/7, systems that can actually heal themselves to prevent downtime, and finding the root cause of a problem in minutes instead of hours. It even handles about a third of all the basic help desk tickets automatically. This frees up the IT pros to focus on the big stuff. So okay, we've seen how AI is a powerhouse in all these different departments, but to really get the most out of it, you have to look bigger. We need to go from the individual teams all the way up to the C-suite and talk about the big picture, a single, holistic strategy for the entire company. Because here's the thing, and this is really important, the biggest hurdle to making AI work isn't the tech. It's not even getting employees on board. The real challenge is getting leadership to think beyond small projects and create one unified enterprise-wide strategy.
So what does a winning game plan look like? Well, it usually involves 4 key steps. First, you've got to educate and upskill everybody. Then you need that big coordinated strategy we just talked about. Third, you absolutely need a framework for governance, rules of the road. And finally, you have to measure the impact across the whole business, not just in one corner.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to a choice between 2 very different mindsets. On one side, you can see AI as a replacement tool, something to just automate jobs and cut costs. That path often leads to fear. But on the other side, you can see AI as a tool for empowerment. The focus shifts to augmentation, helping humans do what they do best, but better. And that path leads to collaboration and creativity. And that really brings our little tour to a close. And it leads us to what I think is the single most important takeaway in all of this. When it's done right, the real goal of AI in the workplace isn't to dehumanize our jobs or to replace us. It's to amplify our human potential. It's to take away the boring, repetitive stuff so that we can focus on what we humans do best, being creative, being strategic, and connecting with each other. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. In this new world we're entering, maybe the biggest risk isn't choosing not to adopt AI. Maybe the real biggest risk is adopting the tech, but failing to use it as a chance to completely reimagine the way we work with it.